Welcome back. For this Let's Build Kenshi, we'll be starting in the South Wetlands in the Grand Bazaar. So we gotta get our character here, Narin, some funds. And a quick tip, you can harvest any crops in a city, and if you build a storage bin, they'll drop it right in. I actually have these stacked up. You can do that in the F12 menu. So if I want to build this, just go in here, select the building. I could actually make this 3 high, so let's go to storage here. And as long as you place it correctly, you can stack them. That might look goofy there. If you needed to adjust it, X, Y, Z, or rotational. And each of these cotton units normally sells for 167, but here there's 100% markup right next door. One of the big disadvantages, of course, with cities is that you have to manually loot like this. And while we're waiting for him to harvest, the South Wetlands area is very beautiful. It's a great place for growing crops as there's plenty of water, utility's good. You'll mostly have to deal with the swamp ninjas and red sabers here. And you can level up farming pretty quickly if you have a human. Any character with the bonus for farming, use barrels and crop fields to pinpoint resources. So for this base layout, I really wanted to make it more of a compact feel, because we're just off the Grand Bazaar here. So we don't really want to make it a grandiose kind of place, given its location, proximity to the main huzzah, if you will. Here's some swamp turtles out here. You can have them as pets with the turtle mod. There's a swamp turtle backpack mod. It's really cool. You should check it out. But heading back to the main place here, just got a couple of wind turbines. Nothing too fancy. And our main character is going to make use of this little guard check outpost. But first we got to build the turrets themselves. So some of the buildings have problems with turrets, like storm houses. I'm looking at you. Glitching, right? Not so much, I don't think, for these towers. So just go to town defense, get a harpoon. No, that doesn't fit. Get a mounted crossbow. We'll get a couple of those going. There's only the one guy here, but he had an outpost. You probably want to put multiple turrets. I'm gonna have, not gonna have turrets here on the back end. I'll explain why in a second. But with the mounted crossbows, you want to place that. Of course, you're going to want some lighting. So town lights, torch post. I like using the traditional look for a more lantern-like feel. And then wall torches to get you some exterior lighting that's more primitive for the swamp feel here. Alright, we placed the torches, and let's get him to safety here. So this is a smaller gate, and oh, hey look, it seems to be a meshing issue. Oh, I guess not. Okay, false alarm. Oh, now I wonder what this could be. Okay, so I loaded in, and it happened to work, but I broke my own golden rule. When you place any object, always test the pathing before you place accessories on it, because if you end up having to adjust it or delete it, you're going to have to either delete all the individual items or manually move them, and let me tell you, that's a pain you don't want to experience. Okay, now that we've sorted that, you may wonder, well, heck, why'd you place the outpost here? It looks ugly. Well, that's because there were trees there, these kinds of trees, and it looked really cool. It was all tucked away, and it's like, well, now what? So you can add the flavor here. I'm not really thinking jungle plant, given what used to be back here, and the giant big would just be too jazzy for this area, this specific patch. Let's see, I think it was more of a thin tree, but there's a lot you can select from, and I don't know if you noticed the commands in the lower right corner do highlight. You can change slope, so it's not going to show it for this object. So this is a bad example. Normally if you want a level, just press the left bracket, hold it down, and the object will rotate to the level position. And then you can adjust the height with the up, plus, and minus down keys. So this is more of the look we're going for. Placing some of the plants, trees, some rocks. You can go in and adjust the height level somewhat, but be aware that it may require readjustment after you save and load it. If you adjust the height too far from where it thinks it should be, see, like that, will probably be a problem. But here's some of the ways you can add flavor back landscape-wise after you place your base and that radius wipes it out. Now this poor guy is getting rained on, so let's give him a little cover. If you press F7, it clears the HUD at the bottom and the pause at the top, which is good for, you know, scenic kind of stuff. But then remember to press F7 to then see what you're building. Otherwise, it'll look like this. Alright, so there's a covers section here. Go to market tent long. It's probably more of the look we're going for here. Now this thing is all over the place. This can happen with certain objects. For example, on the ground, no problemo. You get to something like this tower, because it's like trying to find the nearest mesh face, right? Alright, so obviously we're not leaving that. Go back to F12, click on it, and we want to go from the move to the orientation, and we want to adjust the pitch and roll only. So here's the pitch. Normally you save before doing this, as adjusting the pitch and roll of any objects, especially fences, can crash your game, and has for me numerous times. But I'm feeling spicy, so, and I just saved like a minute ago, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it. Alright, so now we can adjust the yaw here, level it out. So what I like to do when I add something in is to do a quick save load, so let's do that. So here's a reason why I like to do a save and load. As you can see, there are no longer turrets here. So there are blue dots where you can place turrets. And sometimes, if you cover up, well, every time, if you do cover up that spot, you may want to place a turret, let's just say here instead. So now he's got some shelter from the rain. There's some nomads walking up. Not a bad vantage point for this small little outpost. Ooh, uh-oh. Okay, we've got some visitors here. Let's scroll up. So this is the Iron Hounds mod. These are swamp lurkers. Uh-oh. Yep. So we had a crash. My favorite part about Kenshi is the loading screens. This is some really dope artwork though. Lessons the blow. I'm gonna hit the fix stuff button. Snap 3 buildings. Rebuild the mesh for good measure. Save again. Isn't building fun? Hounds were from the Iron Hounds mod. It's pretty cool. There's a swamp variant, an Ashlands variant. There it is over there. Absolutely wrecking someone. So here's our little outpost. We've got some cotton fields. I used, I think it's CM more buildings or more walls to allow me to put these smaller than normal size gates. Normally this thing would be a monster. But I figured it'd make more sense to just have a tiny version of this, right? I mean, it's still pretty big. You know, you look over here. Oop. And it's that big, but it's not some crazy thing. So for a little tiny outpost, I figured it kind of makes more sense. This is private, but this trading post we're going to build over here is not. Here's the initial shack we placed in order to build this thing in the first place. Add some more local flavor for the plant life. Got a little rice paddy here and some prehistoric little swamp tail looking things, a little lily 2 thing. So it looks pretty cool, but we still gotta furnish our shop so we can sell stuff. So let's go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say let's go ahead and do that, but let's see what he's firing at. This is why you want turrets early and turrets often. He's oh, he's looting this downed swamp variant of the Ironhound. Well, good riddance. Good. That should finish the dude off, the little Ironhound off. So, and look, we got a hit on him. Maybe that's what we were firing at. Okay. Oh, and he's down. Turrets often, turrets for life. Okay, I'm gonna do this section live as it were in the video. So we got an empty template here for a shop. Now, if this was outside his town's radius, like, oop, let me pause it to not crash the game. If I want to have a pre-populated building, I could just take this rebel building, swamp store. Nope, you're in interior mode. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, let's try that again. The game will give you nice little hints like you're an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Alright, so let's just slap a do on that down. On that down. English. It's a language. Okay. So you can click for the pre-populated building. You just build outside your town's radius. And you can say, I want this to be a swamp shop. And that's the interior and exterior, signs and NPCs. And voila, you have your own swamp shop. Yep, okay. Look at that. So, outside your town radius, pre-populate buildings. It's really cool. So if you want to put a neighbor, you know, to your little outpost, you could make it a spicy neighbor, an enemy, or you could make it like a frenemy or a friend. You can do all kinds of stuff. You could even have, let's say you want to do a crazy little, I want a tower. You're still in interior edit mode, don't do that. Unless you're editing inside. Okay, let's see here. Let's just pretend that if maybe we want the Thieves Guild out here. You know, you can make up your own playthrough. And this doesn't have to be a mod, right? You could just have this for your save and not change any of the files of the game as far as, you know, mods or anything like that. Hit confirm. I like to go back and out of and back into F12 to do this. And you can go down here and let's see, Thieves. Click on that. Let's see, what do we want for exterior? Banners, I guess. Oh, this is the Traders Guild banner? Okay. Interesting. Alright, so look. Now you've got a Thieves Guild tower. There's the first level. You can hit the page up key or the floor up down arrow to go between levels. And look at that. It's already set up. Boom. You've got all your stuff. So preset buildings. If you're building something outside your town's radius, take advantage of that. But this is inside our town's radius, so you can go ahead and move these windows. However, when you go back in, it's not going to be all pretty like that. Once you do move the windows, click on the building and whatnot so you can move your WASD keys around. Okay, so in general, I like to use some econ mods. I think some of this works in vanilla as far as people will shop at a shop counter, but how much money they have and whatnot is boosted with mods. So let's say we want to sell, you know, we're going to sell cotton, and in the future we might sell like cotton products. So we go to like town storage, we go to shop counter. You know, you've got your vanilla, which I think makes more sense here. Green means that you're good to go on building it. Red can be sketchy. So red doesn't necessarily mean you can't place it in the F12 menu. Normally, if you're building, red means you can't do it. So now you have a basic little, whoops, you've got your, you know, little trading shop here, so you can have any kind of look you want in this game. Imagine, yeah, a little cozy thing. Alright, let's go outside. See what the commotion's about. I guess we're firing at something else. Oh, we've got, Okay. I think it's a red saber based on the bandana. Yeah, that's a red saber. Oh, there's a spider somewhere around here. Ooh, cage beast. Fighting a variant of the Iron Hound. Who will win? Cage beast taking some damage, but he easily downs this little iron punk. If you wanted to make a smaller little settlement, look and feel a certain way. Now this being more of a swamp theme, you can mesh stuff together. And here's what I was talking about earlier, right? With the rocks, I just had to save and load. They reset themselves to the ground level. You can really, with, you know, any of my Let's Builds videos, I showcase different things you can do to make your Kenshi your experience, the way you want it. Not sort of, kind of the way you want it, but exactly the way you want it. And you don't have to, you know, cheat and build stuff. You can build stuff and then move it later, right? So let me show that. We'll use our imagination and say we did the normal way of building something, right? So let's say we want to do, swamp walk boards are pretty cool. So there's different sizes, you know, big, small, regular, and they act like, you know, fences and roads do. So they'll kind of link up here. If you click there, it can kind of, that's kind of wonky, right? So maybe we get a small one. Let's say this water level gets higher and we want to have a swamp walkway, right? So if we built this normally, and it was like, let's say, went to place it. Oof. Yeah, this is, sometimes it has problems, right? Let's say you click this and it goes and does some wonkadoo stuff like this. And you're like, that's not what I want. So here's where an understanding of the XYZ coordinates comes in, right? Ideally, you want to build things as close to where you want it as possible, but sometimes it's going to be a little bit out of the way, and you're going to have to... Oh, where'd that segment go? Well, if you're in the XYZ menu here, you can click that reset, and it will reset to the ground level, right? So you can drag it here, hit reset. Now be very careful when you're dragging stuff that you don't accidentally select the wrong thing, right? And if you want to rotate this, again, this is your yaw, pitch, and roll. So if you want to move this in the direction of your other building here, the red circle is your friend. Right? So we did that. You kind of adjust it here. And you can see which coordinates are moving, right? Y is the green arrow. And then you've got your x-axis here and your z-axis here. So let's see what it looks like when you're done. Actually, let's vibe out to some music for a minute while we finish this up. Or not, the music just stopped. Well, out. But you can see kind of the ways you can make, you know, a little swamp area cooler. I've got this road segment I'll show you in a minute, but there's a little area here for people to kind of rest and relax. And if you put that in your base, any kind of benches or stools, you'll get like nomads or passing folks that are neutral kind of just chillax at your outpost. So if you're looking for a little more flavor as far as experience, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so now on to, let's say you want to add a road. Now, this can be tricky. This is the CM More Roads mod. It works kind of like the fence, the swamp walk board earlier. You can press the positive and negative keys to adjust the height of the road. I recommend you kind of figure out, based on how the land layout, the topography, if you will, is working, how much you want to do at a time. Generally speaking, I like to have longer segments so it has a more even look, but I do balance that with not having the road too high up. That. Okay, that's not too bad. Now, if you did want to level a section again, you can go in here. You can see where the game wants it to be at level-wise and then adjust. Let's exit out of here. See how that looks. Not too bad. So if you do it right, the characters won't clip through it because it's just a mesh that goes on top of the existing ground mesh. Kenshi sound effects are amazing, man. Listen to that rain. You could just sit and chill. You can make your little outpost, and then you can get out of here. Let's take a walk, provided I unlock that gate, which I did not. Let's jump over to that. Actually, we can have him open the gate himself. Be much more immersive. That sound isn't the best, but that's okay. Here we go. That's a smaller size version of the gate. Haven't added swamp walk boards on this side. I'm just going to phase right through that gate. That's always cool. And now he's harvesting some cotton on his own little plot of land. Now that's nice, but let's go check out the rice paddy area over here real quick. And if the game seems kind of boring, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. First person is really the king of until he does glitches like that, until he fluctuates like quantum particles. It's first person is really the king on immersion. Now your characters won't follow the nicely laid out paths you have for them unless you force them along with little walls, which, okay, that's as good of a segment as any. It's harder for these pathways to do it, but I did mention earlier that you can hit F7, go to CM Road, excuse me, is the one for this. So you can do decorative guardrails. They're reliant on the blue things here, so if you did a good job or a decent job placing down your road, you can do this now. Fair warning, if you place these along here, people will try to often cross them, and so it usually makes sense to leave some gaps as to where the traffic would be, right? If I had the road going straight through here or something like that, and I want them to be able to access this, I would not want to then place a guard stone right here. But adding these little touches can make your base feel more immersive. Road perspective. So you can imagine people walking along the road here. Check out your outpost. You got some lamps. Got some wind turbines here. You know, friend or foe, they're kind of checking out your place. You're like, okay, got a little bonfire. That's not too bad. Gonna walk along here. We got a bunch of swamp turtles in the distance. It's a lot of meat right there. A lot of meat. Easy pickings. You're seeing this little thieves tower in the distance. You're like, oh, what's that? You know? Kenshi's starting to feel new again. See, that's the beauty of Kenshi. You can make it anything you want. And the point of my Let's Build series is to show off all the things you can do and kind of explain a little bit about how you can do it. Some of the things are pretty straightforward, and you know them, and other things are something that comes with practice. The visuals on this game, that I use is the Suzuki Reshade mod, and Hero in His Head has a great video on how to set it up while also maintaining performance, because perhaps your computer is melting right now just looking at this, or you have an elite setup and you're like, I got this, bro. Meanwhile, my box fan is feeding my 10 pans inside my PC, hoping that the game doesn't crash. Let's see about adding some fishing, though. So here's a little fishing platform. Little camp table. Fish drying rack here. There's Naren in the distance doing his stuff. Or maybe someone else. Oh, let's see. I'll quickly turn around and show you from above. Now that tent's not, I don't think, completely level, but we're not going to worry about it. Not everything would be level anyway. Okay. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, here we go. We have some visitors. So the cool thing is once you set up your town and you load it, you get people just kind of wandering through. Yeah, a little more realistic. Oh, right by the outhouses, because, you know, everyone's got to go. Just going to follow this guy around for a second. Maybe a minute. Oh, well, he's actually using the swamp walk board for a second there. He's going to check out our little crop area. It is pretty impressive for a small operation. Hopefully he's not here to raid, though I think he would have already done so if he was. Well, impressed or perhaps nonplussed. Alright. So here you go. You got your little outpost just the way you want it. Got the little stronghold here. Your little watchtower. Crossbow turrets. Eventually you'll have people that will wander up, see your lovely campfire, and sit down for a spell. And just relax and enjoy being out of that wet, cold rain. That fire. Almost got that hole lined up. Oh, you wouldn't want the rain putting out your campfire. Yeah, maybe they'll just sit here. Maybe scoot those boxes out a little bit. They would be pretty warm right now. We got some swamp turtles checking out the place. Looks like the rain is slowed down to a crawl. Rain crawls, yep. Yeah. Oh, we got some sun coming out. Just ignore those sky textures. Alright. Look at that. Hello there. Maybe when we get this place up and going, they'll actually buy stuff from our shop counter. So thanks for stopping on by this Let's Build Kenshi video in the South Wetlands area. If you like what you see and you want to see more, subscribe and you'll get weekly updates. And there's tons of areas I've built in. You know, some of my earlier videos like Gut show off more of the pre-population exploits, some of the XYZ leveling, and tons of other things, along with like burning forest. The new Atlantis one shows off building something from the ground up, and that's a mod I'm working on. It's going to take quite some time to do properly. So while we wait for Kenshi 2, I'm hoping to have that sometime in the next 6 months. But like with any mod, take the timeline with a grain of salt, because I did not know how difficult this would be, given that I've never done this before. But it would be pretty exciting to have a different experience. So, see you next time.